We have with us Mr. Sam Pitroda, the chairman of the Indian Overseas Congress. So there's a very important visit to the US coming up for Mr. Rahul Gandhi. It will be his first trip to the US as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. So what are your expectations from the visit, and how important is this visit and what significance it holds in the current context?
See, ever since he became leader of the opposition, personally, I have been bombarded with requests from a variety of people in the US, Europe, and many other places. But mainly in US, from diaspora, students, academicians, think tank people, politicians, and many others to interact with him. Though this is his first visit, it is also an important visit because to me, timing is very critical here. There are elections in America in November. We just finished our main election. We have several state elections coming up. So the window of opportunity was very narrow. And schools are just opening up. You know, earlier there was some summer holiday here. So this looked like a good window of opportunity for all of us. So I'm delighted that he has been able to take time out from his busy schedule, though it's a very short trip, only for 3 days, but it's an important trip.
So you rightly pointed out that it comes at a critical juncture with the US elections just round the corner. So how do you look at that? Will he be interacting with both Democratic and Republican leaders? Because India is at a critical juncture of ties with the US. So from that point of view, now since he holds a important post, will he be having some official engagements? Can you share with us?
He is not coming here in his official capacity. I want to clarify that. We will have chance to interact with variety of people on Capitol Hill, but that's at an individual level. He will definitely have interactions with the press at the National Press Club, which is important. He will meet with the think tank people, which is important. And he'll also have interaction at the Georgetown University, which is equally important in Washington, D.C.
Okay. Sir, you are the head of Indian Overseas Congress. Lok Sabha elections were just held recently in India. Obviously, Congress has emphasized that how important a message these results have given. The critics, on the other hand, the critics say that this was the third time in a row that the Congress could not cross 100, and still the government was formed by the BJP. How do you look at the June 4 results? What, according to you, is the significance of the June 4 results?
Different people have different interpretation. First of all, elections are not the only key element in democracy. Elections are a beginning to democratic process. Institutional independence, role of civil society, role of media, free, fair media, justice, freedom to speak, all of these are important issues in democracy. So in the last election, the fear was that BJP will get 400 seats, as they were saying to everybody. Then it would have been absolute majority, which could bring about, in the judgment of many people, little bit of concern at various levels on constitution, authoritarian mindset, more attack on the opposition, media and all. So this election was very important because BJP could be brought down to 240 seats. So I think message is loud and clear that ordinary people of India prefer democracy, constitution, freedom, justice. It is not about who won how many seats. Numbers, of course, tell one story, but numbers don't tell the whole story.
Sir, another change that has been brought that has been visibly noticed by a lot of political commentators is how Mr. Rahul Gandhi's image has evolved over a period of time. Earlier on, he was being lampooned on social media. There were all sorts of commentaries about him, but that has changed now. He's looked upon as a leader who's raising the voice of the people, and he's now the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. His speeches have been well received. So, how do you see this transition? You've been closely associated with him. What has changed according to you, and how this image transformation, as one may call it, has been brought about?
First of all, the image created in media was based on well-orchestrated campaign against an individual where millions and millions of dollars were spent in maligning this young man. I mean, when he's highly educated, people said he never went to college. People created this image by spending a lot of money. It was a false image. I give a lot of credit to Rahul Gandhi for standing up to that, fighting it for long, long time, and survive. Nobody else would have been able to survive the
Do you think?
onslaught day in, day out on an individual, his family, his legacy, his party, his character. Okay. I mean, it's pretty bad. Okay. These are mean people who, by design, lie, cheat, say all kinds of things about individuals. I've seen it in my case also to a small extent, very small extent. They don't look at what you did in the past, what you stand for. They just take one issue, bend it in the way they want, and just keep hammering because the Godi media gives them all the space. Okay. Rahul Gandhi's image is finally coming through the way he is. His two yatras helped. His sustenance convinced people that he's here, his commitment is there. Earlier, people said he's not committed. How could you not be committed and be in politics for 20 years? Okay. So they have their own version that they create and promote. And all media then go full blast as a choreographed event. And it is possible to do that in today's digital world if you have money to spend. So I think people saw him at the Yatra. People understand him. People have interacted with him. Even when we go abroad, when he interacts with people at university, press, think tanks, people understand his depth. They appreciate his knowledge. They welcome his comments. It is not one-way broadcast. Okay. And his true character shows up. His body language is clear. Okay. So I think things have turned around in public's mind because public is beginning to realize that the media is controlled. Messages are designed to hurt people. And lies are finally catching up. You can't lie all the time to all the people. People are now beginning to see that we said we'll create 20 million jobs. We haven't done that. We said we will do this. We haven't done that. We'll say every dime of, black money will come back. Hasn't happened. So there are many issues that one can go into and see what kind of lies have been propagated in the past. So
So
people
he's
ultimately are the judge.
Sir, he's been his obviously he has been made the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. His speeches in the Lok Sabha have been received well among the people. So earlier there were questions about where, him taking up responsibility. Now he's done that. He's in a position, in a constitutional position. Do you see him as Do you see him as a future prime minister of this country?
I think that is for people of India to decide. From my personal experiences, and I may be biased, I think he's very capable. He's a decent human being. He's well educated. He has the right DNA. And I see him as the custodian of the idea of democracy that Congress party has always promoted, rooted in truth, trust, love, rooted in inclusion, diversity, justice, freedom. These are all very important concepts. And you have to live it. You can't just talk about it and do exactly opposite. Okay. You have to live these ideas. The campaign here started on bringing in the mainstream people at the bottom of the pyramid, OBC, Dalits, minorities, tribals. It's very important to the future of India. Of course, it took us a long time to get there. Of course, we should have done it earlier. But now is the time, as we are ready to take off as a major economy, to bring everybody in the system. Now we have enough talent pool. Maybe 70, 50 years ago, we didn't have enough large talent pool. So, this idea that every time you say something, they said, oh, but what about in the past? Just look at the future. Don't go back all the time to past. Past is important. But you can't use that every time to block the future.
Sir, a lot of people in the Congress and elsewhere also have pointed out that since he's become LOP, he's been raising people's voices. Congress has of late done well electorally also. So whenever the Congress comes to power, he has earned his right, to be a PM candidate. How do you look at that viewpoint?
I agree with that. But that's for the party to decide. Because in party, there is democracy, believe me. People speak up, people argue, people discuss, people debate, people have different viewpoints.
But do you see in him the qualities of a future prime minister?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it.
Another issue that you've also had to deal with, and the Congress party, that whenever Mr. Gandhi in the past has gone abroad and made certain remarks about the government, about the way of government functioning, he's been attacked by the BJP back home, saying that he's criticizing on foreign soil, he's taking on the BJP on foreign soil. So how do you respond to those kinds of criticism, especially when ahead of a
First
visit?
of all, in this day and age, with digital media where communication is instant, distance is dead, there are no local events. Every local event becomes global event. A church burned in France is no longer a French event. It is a global event, as an example. Same with wars. So it is wrong to assume that there are certain things you say at home and there are certain things you say abroad. That's one. Two, criticizing government is not criticizing India. It is okay to criticize government by an opposition leader. That's his job, in fact. Okay.
Both at home and abroad,
why complain? No. So why complain? So I think this whole business of criticizing abroad and all is bogus. Okay. You are a global, well-connected nation of 1.5 billion people. What happens in India is of concern to many all over the world. Yeah. And these borders that we have designed in our mind don't make sense anymore. We live in a big global village. So people all over the world are interested in what is going on in India. Okay.
So you say that people all over the world are interested in India, which is very true. Now you are the
Absolutely.
yes. So you are the
But
overseas Congress chief. You talked about what the June 4 result means for people here, but not what does the June 4 result? How has it been received abroad? You head an organization which has presence in 32 countries. So how do people outside look at this result of June 4?
people outside look at very clearly as the voice of the people of India, which said loud and clearly that we prefer democracy. We don't want authoritarian regime. We will not give absolute power to anybody. We want balance of power. We want to protect our constitution. And we want to move forward on democracy.
Sir, one interesting phenomena that we've seen in the last few months since the result, the government took back the lateral entry move. The government sent the Waqf bill to a JPC. A lot of people in the opposition have started calling Modi 3.0 a U-turn government. How do you look at Modi 3.0?
I believe India needs more collaboration, cooperation, co-creation. For that, we need broader conversation in the parliament. We need to take everybody with us. What we did during demonetization, what we did in the past on several of those kinds of issues is just not acceptable in democracy. You cannot do that. Okay. You got to talk to people. You got to be open. You got to be transparent. You got to take everybody's view. Opposition is not your enemy. Opposition is your partner. Learn to work with them. Respect them. The way people criticize each other in India on public platforms, including Prime Minister, is just not decent democracy. A Prime Minister of a country can't talk the way our Prime Minister talks about other people with personal attacks, vendetta, dubious design to malign people. It's not decent in democracy. You need a respectable conversation. And I'm hoping that we will have more of that in the parliament.
So one question on Congress, you have already pointed it out, but I would like you to elaborate on that. How do you see this shift in the Congress policy? We are constantly seeing Mr. Gandhi emphasizing on caste census, emphasizing on bringing in OBCs, SCs, STs, minorities into the mainstream. So how do you see this shift in the Congress stand? Because of late, Congress is the most vocal on caste census. How do you see this shift, when traditionally over the years Congress has not been that vocal on such issues?
I must give credit to Congress Party, Rahul Gandhi, and Mr. Kharge for the changes they have made in the organization recently. If you look at the new list of Congress leaders in terms of secretaries and joint secretaries, you will see that Rahul Gandhi walks the talk. Whatever he has been saying is reflected in that reorganization. I'm told 60% of the people are from OBC, Dalit, minorities, and other. There are 50 new people below 50 years of age, or 50 people. There are women. So I think the transformation of Congress party has begun. New team of people represent new Congress party. It's not easy, believe me, in a party with 138 years of track record to bring about these kinds of changes and replace a lot of the old guards is not easy. But that has happened. And we got to give credit where it is due that Rahul Gandhi is ready to walk the talk.
So what you're saying is that it's a reincarnated Congress, it's a revamped Congress that we are seeing right now, and
Absolutely.
it's headed towards a comeback. Would you say that the comeback has begun?
No, I was answering first to your question about OBC and all, and that is reflected in the new organizational architecture. Now it is for the new team to take it forward. They have to be trained, they have to be empowered, they have to be given space to learn. They will make mistakes, but the path is clear that we want better equity, more inclusion, younger people of all castes, race, religion, every state, and we want women. That is what the new list of secretaries and joint secretaries is all about to me. Other people may see it differently, but I see it as a very clear message that Rahul Gandhi walks the talk.
So my final question to you is, as I speak with you, I see a photograph of our former Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, behind you, and you worked very closely with him. You've transformed a lot of sectors under his leadership. You've also worked closely with Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So what are the similar, because no one else could point that out, what are the similarities and so to say the divergences between these two individuals, and how do you look at them as leaders?
Thank you for asking that question. I also had chance to work with Narasimha Rao, Manmohan Singh,
Yes,
and for that matter, VP Singh, Chandrasekhar, Devi Gowda. So I had an opportunity to see many prime ministers from very close quarters. But the difference between Rahul and Rajiv maybe is that Rahul is much more intellectual, thinker. Rajiv was little more doer. They have same DNA. They have same concerns and feelings for people. They genuinely believe in building better India for everybody. They're genuinely simple people. They don't have big personal needs, believe me, no matter what anybody else says. I know it. Okay. Rahul is a strategist, more so than Rajiv was. Okay. And they are products of different time, different tools, different experiences. Poor Rahul has gone through two big shocks in his life, his grandmother and his father. Okay. So there are different paths they have to travel. Okay. But the fundamentals are clear. both are custodian of the idea of India that Congress party had laid out. And every leader of the Congress party believes in it. Narasimha Rao believed in it. Khargeji believes in it. And I think collectively, it is our job to build the India that our founding fathers had envisaged. It is more about equity, more about lifting people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. It is more about income equality, respect, dignity for everybody, and build a society where everybody has a place. Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Sikh, Jews, Jains, they are all Indians. We got to respect everybody. We got to love everybody. And it is okay to be different. We are a country of diversity. Our food is different. Our language is different. Our culture is different. Our music is different. Our dances are different. Our literature is different. And that's the beauty of India. You can't take that away from it. You got to have that rooted in every aspect of India. When you take one piece out, India begins to fall apart. That's how I feel.